If you were to tell 8-year-old David that he'd be making movies that look like this, he'd probably pass out. Fortunately, he had no idea, but obsessed over every second of his craft. And over the years, he slowly grew, learning as he went. And he started making films. A lot of films. Here is his story. Okay, you ready? Here we go. So as a kid, I had a lot of opportunities. I played the piano, learned guitar, a lot of guitar, and believe it or not, I even had 2 lessons in painting classes. Or at least I tried to. But it didn't matter what I was doing. I was still into photography and filmmaking. Photos racked up, and these cringy videos, they were so fun to make. I went to film classes obsessed over the rule of thirds and a thing called depth of field. Took photos, more photos, and then my uncle got me the brand new Hero 7. And that changed everything. Time lapses, hyperlapses, vlogs, your boy was filming everything. Got into biking, started recording fails. Lots of fails. But then, without any warning, it stopped. We moved. Everything just felt old. I didn't want to do anything. In 2022, there was this strange moment where I ended up making the weirdest videos imaginable. They were almost so cringy that I began to wonder if I even cared about filmmaking. And the hardest part, I could not make them better. I just didn't know how to. But most importantly, I stopped experimenting. I was stuck creatively, so I let time pass. But you know, somewhere in the middle of all of this, on a random Tuesday in December, a spark of inspiration. I grabbed my camera and went to film. I made something that I was super proud of. Shortly after, I decided to make a second one, and to my surprise, that got some attention. A lot of attention. Too much attention. So as any good businessman would do, I decided to ride this wave. Outreach, a couple brand deals, and things were looking good. I got some new gear, and got to know some fellow filmmakers.
All that work.
Everything was on track. It was looking great. Until things weren't. Oh, and I forgot to say something. My videos are going to be changing in a better direction. I'm tired of how I do things. Views, brand deals, a little bit of money. I tried to keep this going until it all crashed. You know that time after a big road trip when you finally arrive home, but the next few days, they feel like a blur? That was September and October for me. I had no clue what was going to happen to my videos. I was just there. I feel like sometimes I create content for the sake of creating content, subconsciously driven by views, and also overthinking everything. But I wish that I can create videos in the same simplicity as I did before. Just go and create something, even if I were to delete it the next day because of that's how bad it was. But go back when I was 13, watching Planet Earth and getting inspired to go and film in my backyard for 2 days, to create a short video clip. That's what I miss. So here I am asking this question. Why do I make films? Because if the motives are wrong, I'll never be authentic and true to myself. And that needs to change. I cannot go on with this mentality of trying to predict what someone else wants. I can't do that. I need to make films for myself. And that's when it will resonate with others. I know it might sound like 2024 was a year full of failures and a lot of regrets, but in reality, that's not entirely true. 2024 was by far my best year in filmmaking. I made a lot of cool videos and met some great friends. But for all of this to make sense, let's go back to January. I made a film inspired by Sam Colder. It was the largest film I had ever made up to that point. I got a $30 lens and created a boot commercial entirely shot with it. That was fun. Shortly after, I made the video that changed everything. How to make boring life cinematic. The response from it was unreal. I started reaching out to multiple brands offering the video in exchange for a product. Finally, the first brand to say yes was Color Blue. They gave me 50% off their EDC, which I love and use to this day. And that's where it all started. I had terrible gear, and this opportunity to get free gear was unbelievable. But little did I know that's where it all began to go downhill. I got lights, monitors, fog machines, magic arms, more lights, a slider, more rigging parts. The gear kept flowing in. And I still said no to over 30 brand emails. But for some reason, making money was still kind of a priority to me, which is crazy given the fact that this was my first year. If I didn't have a product for a video, there was really no point of making a video. That was my mentality. And even after getting incredibly blessed with so much gear, I was still dragging myself to create these videos. Only because of free gear. I saw other creators getting better views from brand videos. It was like I was one of those who didn't make it. And that led me to a terrible place. I was trying to copy these incredible filmmakers and get the most gear I possibly could. And that left me empty. I was creating videos that were someone else's. They weren't authentic. I had a bunch of videos lined up, and I was trying to figure out what's next. Because in the back of my mind, I knew this could not go on forever. I was really thinking about the future and what motivates me as a filmmaker. Why do I make films? I was caught up in trying to be the next Sam or the next Gox. But now that I realize it, the only way I could ever stay happy doing this is to just be myself. Finding your voice and your style can take a long time, but it's part of the journey. I kind of realized to not look at these creators and say, I want to be him, but be the best version of yourself. And trust me when I say it, it makes life so much easier. I stopped caring about views and metrics, stopped comparing myself. But I made content that I truly enjoyed, and that is so refreshing. So I get a lot of questions about what gear do I use. So let me show you. I have a lot of random gear, but the most important stuff are located in this, the Nanik N935. I try to be very minimal with my gear, which is hard, but here's what I use. As for the camera, the Lumix S5 II and the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. They're both amazing cameras. The lenses, the Sigma 18-55, a Lumix 85mm, a Mikey Nifty 50, and a Lumix 12-35. My entire rig is from FALCAM. It's the quickest, most high-quality system I've ever used by far. All my filters are from FREWELL. They're some of the cleanest, most high-quality filters out there. And this is my rig. And all my lighting is from Zhiyun. I personally think they have the best bang for buck when it comes to lighting. I have an Apple MacBook M4 Pro. I use that for pretty much everything. I also use the Zhiyun Smooth 5S for on the go. It's amazing. A couple audio related things, and everything packs neatly into the 935. That's pretty much what I use. You know, even with being blessed with so much gear, I realized that gear is not the answer. At least the answer I was looking for. I know I'm not alone in this, but my mentality was like this. I would look at other filmmakers and their gear, and I would make excuses. Like, I can't film those type of videos because I don't have this camera or that type of lens. But when I got great gear and a nice MacBook, I quickly realized how wrong I was. Gear matters. But the worst thing you can do is compare yourself to others. The best way to get good with something is to figure out what you're least comfortable with and make it comfortable. And to not spend hours looking for the right lens. That's what I learned. And I actually made a list in my notebook. For me in the editing process, I have things that I absolutely love and things that I can't stand getting done. Color is one of those things that I'm not the best at, but I obsess over it the most. All the noise goes away and this log footage takes on a look that I tweak for hours. I really don't know why I love it so much. Maybe it's the software, or the fact that my taste for what I like changes every 5 minutes. I really don't know. But it's by far the most satisfying part of the editing process, at least for me. But it wasn't like that all the time. I struggled getting the right colors and ended up looking for help from people that are way better than me. And after refining my presets to fit my ever-changing style and experimenting with different looks, I kind of fall to that clean, realistic, but pleasing look. Nothing too crazy. I think I realized it's not about how much notes can you collect and what creators you can copy, but how you can use color to tell a better story. I found with color grading, less is more, and I try to live by that. But one thing that I went through a huge change with is music. You see, coming from a musical background, I hated these old, boring classical songs. I wanted something more progressive. And I did. I started listening to upbeat pop-style music, and I loved it. But anytime I would hear a classical song, I would instantly turn away, because I thought it was boring and sad. It was like that for years, and my videos, they reflected that quite a bit. But randomly, out of nowhere, I heard a song by Beethoven. And that changed everything. I don't know how or why I instantly heard the beauty in the song. It never occurred to me that the music that I so desperately hated was the most stunning music I ever heard. I instantly started filling up my playlist with classical composers, and it eventually started showing in my videos. I obsessed over that music. I would only listen to that type of music for months. And I was truly shocked how I couldn't stand that music in the past.
I then realized why all these big movies use this type of music. Composers like Hans Zimmer became a huge inspiration. But when music met filmmaking, that was interesting. I started downloading free music from YouTube's music library. Yes, it was pretty bad. And pretty much everything was copyrighted, but I didn't care. That was the only music I had. I later got recommendations for other music licensing websites, and I started this journey. I looked at all the options and I loved them. However, I quickly stopped because I didn't have the money to back any of them up. So one time when I was on the shoot in another country, I met this cool filmmaker who introduced me to Epidemic Sound, and that started the coolest journey of my filmmaking life. I started regularly using Epidemic Sound and made hundreds of videos with that music. It was great. As I progressed, I learned how to treat music in filmmaking. You see, before I would slap on a song that just sounded great, but as I progressed, I started treating music almost as an actor, as a crew member. If I can't make my own music to accentuate the moment, I have to shift my video to stock music. And yes, it's hard and something that all filmmakers absolutely despise. But that's what I have to work with because I can't make my music, at least for now. And it's such a full circle moment because now I'm an ambassador for Epidemic Sound, which is so cool. So after I figured all of this out, I have a little trip scheduled.
And it's not an ordinary trip. It's a special one. I'll explain later. So, let's pack our bags. So, let me explain why I'm here. I'm here to film a video for a really cool nonprofit organization. They're building a rehab center in a small town right off the coast. It's pretty cool. I came out to help them with the fundraiser video. And this is the building, and the construction group is going to be putting on a roof. So, let's get to filming. I wanted to make this video with a strong narrative and tell the story about this project and how it all came together. So after a lot of writing and storyboarding, I got the narrative that I was happy with. We had a lot of fun. I got some really cool shots, ate tacos, and even did some street photography. But most importantly, I got to help out this nonprofit, working here in Mexico, preaching the gospel, bringing the good news of salvation to these people. And I got to be a small help and get them a promo video. And this was the first time that I actually tested my color grading presets in the real world. I developed them in the studio, but using them in the world was definitely something different, especially with photography. Using built-in presets was so much fun. But with the trip over, it was time to get back to work. And after a long day of editing and a whole lot of sleeping, I can tackle my hardest project yet.
So one thing I haven't tried yet is graphic designing. Well, I have tried it, it's just, yeah. So as a new goal of mine, I decided to get better at it and really develop my personal style. I decided not only to make a complicated poster, but also learn a brand new software. I don't know if you remember, but I made all my posters in DaVinci Resolve, and it actually worked pretty well. But today I'm a big boy, and I purchased Affinity Photo 2. I started watching endless tutorials on the software, and trying to learn it as quick as possible. But as I'm troubleshooting, it takes me back to that young David, trying to figure out why his footage is so grainy. It's that same process, try, fail, until you think you get it, but then realize it looks like garbage, and you have to start all over again. That's the process that I'm about to go through right now. It's like I'm 13 again, doing this all over. So let me tell you what I'm going to be making. I had this idea to create one big poster with 4 small posters in it. Each section would represent a different stage of my creative process, like ideation, writing, filming, editing. You know, when I'm creating something like this, something that could really shape my style, I become very paranoid about what I consume. Because any small poster or video that I watch can directly influence my work. So I hand-selected a couple creators and only watched a few of their videos to get some ideas. But also trying my best to not copy them, just take what I like and mix it with my style, to create something that I love, to steal like an artist. So when everything is ready, I have my rough idea. Let's get to work. After spending so much time on it, here is the final poster.
As I'm making this video, I randomly came to this surreal realization that just like no art is original, every art is composed of past experiences and influences. That's how my filmmaking life is like. It's easy to sit here and say that all of this came from hard work. But in reality, it was so much more than that. If it wasn't for my grandparents constantly helping me out financially and giving me their brand new Canon point and shoot so I could take photos, or that old laptop that my grandma gave me, I wouldn't have an opportunity to capture everything that I saw. Or if it wasn't for my parents, who constantly pushed me to play the piano and encouraged me to pursue my passion, I wouldn't have been anywhere near where I am today. From my dad taking me to video classes so I could learn the craft, to my birthdays that always had something filmmaking related, that monopod and recorder, that gear always meant the world to me, and countless other people who believed in me and gave me a chance to make a video. Those mission promo videos, or those couples who were kind enough to let me film their weddings for free. But those were the experiences that taught me very valuable lessons, to keep trying. Even when you're sitting for hours on end trying to figure out why your videos just look so bad. Or just asking my uncle advice on an edit. That's what I really miss, being lost in the craft, not knowing what you're doing. Binge watching these YouTubers and trying to figure out filmmaking, creating cheesy videos that will never get posted. That's when I had the most fun. And that's just naming a few. I thank God for these people in my life that are the true reason why I'm able to make these films. Without any of them, I would have never even picked up a camera for the first time. It's such a blessing, and I'm forever grateful to God for this. So next time when you're looking back on your achievements, always remember the people that got you there in the first place. Because we all have that one person that once gave you a chance to go and make something. So be grateful. So you might be wondering, what am I going to do next? What's my future plans? I'm still going to continue making videos, at least for myself. I don't think I'm ever going to stop making videos. I'm kind of married to my cameras at this point. But my YouTube is going to be a little different. I'm going to be posting videos a bit less often, mainly because I want to try out some other things. I want to dive deeper into filmmaking and get better at writing and telling stories. I also want to try to make my own music and dive deeper into color grading. That's my goal. I don't really care that much about gear anymore, but now I'm more interested in cine lenses and new skills that I can learn in DaVinci Resolve. I love that program. I also got super interested in street photography and 35mm film. But that's a whole nother beast that I don't fully understand right now. Once I figure that out, that's a story for another day. Photography is something that I started out with and I want to get back at it. Other than that, it should be the same. I'm still David, inside I still love filmmaking, and I'll always love cameras. As well as get out of the room a bit more. That's my goal. In the end, I think I realized for the first time the true motivation behind my filmmaking. When you take away the views and the metrics and focus on what got you here in the first place, I think you become more appreciative of your work. Because you're not waiting on someone else's opinion to validate your work. You do it because you love it, and that makes it so much more enjoyable. Through making this film, I learned so much more than I thought I would. That making a film just slightly larger than I usually do is almost triple the amount of work, or even more. I can truly say this really pushed me out of my comfort zone and forced me to get creative, even when I felt creatively drained. I thank all the brands that stuck with me and helped me make this film. You guys are truly amazing. And to you, the audience, who showed up even when my videos got pretty bad, thanks. Thank you, Epidemic Sound, for being so cool with me. I really love the creator community and music you guys offer. And FREWELL, who so graciously sent out their filters to help me out with this film. I wholeheartedly stand behind the quality of your filters. And FALCAM, you guys keep showing up in every video I make. Your products are not only the best quality, but durable even in the coldest, most brutal conditions. Thanks. Zhiyun, you've changed the game for me. I use your products every day. I love them. And lastly, Nanak. I literally have no words. Just photos. The 935 is indestructible. I take it on every trip I go now. You guys are the only company I trust for these cases. Thank you for believing in me. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching this. This film means the world to me. I hope this inspired you to go out and create something. Until next time, bye.